Episode 3 of the Law of Succession from the Port Helicopter News every Saturday, Sunday. We are on the episode of the Law of Succession. And this question today is whether have you seen during burials? Your father is dead, your mother is dead, your uncle is dead. All of a sudden, a child appears and says, the dead who is your father is also my father. The dead who is your uncle is also my uncle. Have you seen drama? Women appearing and saying that this was my husband. He can't be buried. I must be involved as a wife. So the question that today we shall be looking at, who is a dependent of the deceased man? There is very little controversy from mothers, from women when they die, because the children they have given birth to are known. But the men keep their women hidden. They keep their children hidden, and they surface at the time when really nobody expects to them. Section 29 of the Law of Succession provides for who is a dependent. The first dependent known by the Law of Succession is a dependent called a biological child. These are children born in a marriage. There's no dispute about this one. The second one is the wives. Here there is controversy. When one dies, the law recognizes a wife or wives. These are people who are married to the deceased person. If the marriage was African customary law, then the polygamous women are wives for that purpose. 2, former wives. This is where the controversy is. All of you know John divorced his wife, and the wife left and went being married elsewhere and had children elsewhere. But when he dies, the law recognizes that former wives will inherit. Make this very clear. The wife who is there and the former wife. So this is the controversial provision that we are dealing with. I know very many of you will want to confirm whether Port Helicopter News is live. Section 29 is very clear. Former wives, divorced, chased, separated, those who ran away, abandoned the husband, will inherit the properties of the deceased person. The third group is about the children. We have talked about the first being a biological child. Those biological children are in 2 categories, whether he maintained them or he didn't maintain them. So if Omari gave birth to a child and the mother ran away with that child still remains Omari's child when Omari dies. Whether Omari does not pay school fees, whether Omari does not feed that child by law, when the father dies, that child will come to inherit. So, a child born and maintained will inherit. A child born by the father but is not maintained because of either there was a war between the mother and the father or there was whatever happened, that it will be maintained. The fourth category are the issue of the dependent by maintenance. Mark this. These are dependent by maintenance. These fall in terms of the deceased's parents. If he was paying medical bills for his dear mother, if he was taking care of his father, if he was taking care of those parents, then those parents will be provided for. 2, any child the deceased took into his house or supported by paying school fees, by buying food, by clothing that child, by taking that child for medication, that person will inherit the property of the deceased. So, even the people that he was paying school fees for, whether they are related by blood or they are not related by blood, the law provides that all dependents who are being maintained by the dead man before he died, the estate of the dead man shall continue maintaining this. Equally, concubines. Now this is where the law comes in. If these concubines, side chicks, and other women will prove that he used to maintain them, he used to give them money for rent, he used to send money by M-Pesa, and they produce evidence in court that it was a regular type of maintenance as a concubine, the law will treat those women for the purpose of marriage as wives, but they are not legally married, but for succession, they will be maintained. A child who has been declared a beneficiary, if that child's mother has not been married to any other man, that mother will come back and inherit the property of the estate. So that is very, very controversial. How does the law allow strangers to inherit the property of a dead person? The law of succession wants to maintain a status quo that families, whether biological, whether nuclear, whether extended, if the man chose to maintain them, nobody else can stop him from maintaining what he used to maintain. If he kept a woman somewhere, he did it willingly. So nobody can stop now the man, because he has died, from supporting these children. If he chose to marry and divorced, that person, as I've said, has a right to come and inherit the property of the person. So, what about a woman? Section 29C is very controversial. It is the woman who has died. And this woman who has died was the one maintaining the husband, or was the one maintaining the boy, the Tom and Dick boys somewhere. The estate of the dead woman will continue to maintain that husband who was kept by the woman. So let not anybody imagine that anybody will be discriminated from being a dependent by virtue of marriage. The law of succession does not care the question about marriage. In division of matrimonial property, which we shall be dealing with, there must be a marriage. In the law of succession, it is that there was a relationship of maintenance. If you maintained when you are alive, the law provides that that maintenance must continue. So, spouses, wives, if your husband is supporting his father, his mother, his nieces, his nephews, his uncles, they will inherit from the estate of the deceased. But the maintenance must be within a blood-related conla. If somebody was paying money as a politician to students from his constituency or from his ward, that cannot be forced from the state to pay those people. If he was maintaining the church, every month he gives this amount of money, that cannot be maintained. So the maintenance must be related to blood. It must be related to a domestic engagement. That is now the law on dependents. I know it is very, very painful when a real wife comes to get that concubines are going to inherit. The children, normally called bastard, are coming to inherit. The law of succession is a law that deals with dependents, and we have defined who is a dependent under section 29 of the law of succession. Wakili Danstan Omari on the question of dependents under the law of succession, episode 3 of the law of succession. Expect next week as we proceed to look at the law of succession further. Thank you very much and see you from Court Helicopter News. Wakili Danstan Omari.